Hello, everybody. Welcome to Dance Fest 2023, produced by No Studios. If you're not familiar with No Studios, we are an art space in Milwaukee, in downtown Milwaukee. So we're thrilled to bring you Dance Fest again. We did our first Dance Fest in 2019, and we're thrilled to bring it back. Every year with Dance Fest, we partner with a very important dance organization outside of Milwaukee. And today I'm thrilled to bring you Danny G from New York City's the Joyce Theater. Danny, this is your, I know you've been to Milwaukee maybe one time before, but this is your first sort of intentional trip to Milwaukee. How are you liking it?
Well, I've only been here for less than 12 hours. I got in late last night from New York, really late last night. But it's beautiful here, and I'm excited to see the dance that's going to happen on the stage today. I traveled here, as Lisa said, many, many years ago. I used to be a dancer with the Alvin Ailey American Dance Theater. And yes, thank you. So we've been to this area many times, but this is my first time coming here as a presenter. And I've just recently joined the Joyce Theater after 15 years presenting work outside in Central Park in New York. So I'm very familiar with what it's like to present outdoor festivals, but I am happy to be at the world-renowned Joyce Theater in New York, which is one of the very few theaters in the world that was made by dancers for dancers. And the theater is about 41 years old. We do about 48 weeks of programming a year, servicing up to 150,000 patrons a year with dance of every discipline from every part of the globe. So I am super honored to be here with Lisa, and thanks also to her brother John Ridley and No Studios for this amazing opportunity. And I look forward to sharing all of this here with you today. So thank you so much for being here.
So we have gorgeous weather. This is beautiful Milwaukee weather, beautiful Milwaukee summertime weather. And we are going to have a full afternoon of dance in two parts. So the first part is with some of our younger dancers, some of our youth dancers. We're so happy to give them an opportunity to showcase their talent. And then the second part will be with our, some of our more experienced dancers. And we'll have a little bit of an intermission in between where we have an opportunity to chat with the dance companies and ask them about their practice and so on and so forth. I think just one thing I want to say, the reason why No Studios is doing this is Milwaukee, as we know, is a fantastic sports town. We have fantastic basketball. We have fantastic baseball. We have fantastic football. I think what people don't know about Milwaukee is we have fantastic arts. And so what we want to do through this program is showcase the arts, and in particular dance, which is a combination of art, creativity, athleticism. It just really is all the things that make entertainment. And we're happy to bring this to you. So for the first part, we're going to start with Salsabrositas. We'll move into Milwaukee Irish Dance, Dream Cheer and Dance Studio, Signature Dance, and True Skool. So these folks are homegrown in Milwaukee, and we're so excited to showcase them. And we'll gather again after these performances. So thanks so much.
Here we go.
Pero miren cómo luce su figura, cómo mueve las caderas al bailar. Esa negra Catalina es la locura, cuando baila tiene fuerza de huracán. Se le nota y se le nota que ella goza y que el ritmo lo disfruta de verdad. Esa negra ya se puso candelosa y no para cantar y de bailar. Pura sabrosura y puro vacilón,
porque Catalina nos alegra el corazón.
pura sabrosura y puro vacilón.
Y con Catalina pa' gozar el pachangón.
Moyubare, moyuboricha, cabo, cambia si leo. Chango ta veni, chango ta veni, chango ta veni. Con el machete en la mano tierra va a temblar. Si se la van
Oye, saca la mujer. No, 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 no te la van a llevar. Oye, oye, saca la mujer. Sácala, que sácala, que sácala, que sácala, que sácala, que sácala, que sácala. Sácala, sácala, sácala. Oye, llévala a pasear. Uh, uh, uh.
La única banda que toca hasta las 15, hasta las 15, con el verdadero rey y el verdadero mambo. Yes, sir. Que baile la morena, que goce la morena, que brinque la morena, que se mueva la morena. Esa nena va a bailar, mueve bebé, esa nena va a gozar, shake it, baby, por aquí, por allá. A ella le gusta disfrutar. Shake it, baby. Vamos al mambo, al mambo, al mambo. Oro sayo, oro who, oro sayo. Y en inglés, sale tú. Y otra vez, I love you, baby. I love you, baby. I need you, baby. I need you, baby. I want you, baby. I want you, baby. Te quiero, baby. Mi amor. Tu señorito, y esa hasta las 15.
Pelotero la bola. Te traigo la bola, la bola, la bola. Cuidado, caballero, que viene la bola. La bola, la bola, la bola, la bola. Ay, mira, pelotero, que se pare la bola. Que se pare otra vez. Que se vuelva a parar. Que se pare 2 veces. Pelotero la bola. Ay, mira qué sabroso que juega la bola. Caballero, la bola, la bola. Oye, Luisito, que suena el timbal. Sí.
I know you're gonna dig this. Check it out. Let's do it.
Breakfast at Tiffany's and bottles of bubbles. Girls with tattoos who like getting in trouble. Lashes and diamonds, ATM machines. Buy myself all of my favorite things. Been through some bad, I should be a sap. Who would've thought it turned me to a savage? Rather be tied up with calls and not strings. Write my own checks like I write what I sing. My wrist, stop watching. My neck is fuzzy. Make big deposits. My gloss is popping. You like my hair? Gee, thanks. Just bought it. I see it. I like it. I want it. I got it. Yeah, I want it. I got it. 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 Yeah. You like my hair? Gee, thanks. Just bought it. I see it. I like it. I want it. I got it. Yeah. Wearing a ring, but ain't gon' be no misses. But matching diamonds for 6 of my. I'd rather spoil all my friends with my riches. Think we tell therapy my new addiction. Whoever said money can solve your problems must not have had enough money to solve them. They say which one, I say nah, I want all them. Happiness is the same price as red bottoms. My smile is beaming, my skin is gleaming. The way it shine, I know you seen it. I bought a crib just for the closet, both his and hers. I want it, I got it. Yeah, I want it, I got it. 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 You like my hair? Gee, thanks. Just bought it. I see it, I like it. I want it, I got it. My receipts be looking like phone numbers. If it ain't money, then wrong number. Black card is my business card. The way it be setting the tone for me. I don't need a brag, but I be like, put it in the bag, yeah. When you see the max, they stacked up like my, yeah. Shoes, go from the south to the booth. Make it all back in one loop. Give me the loot. Never mind, I got the juice. Nothing but never we shoot. Look at my neck, look at my debt. Ain't got enough money to pay me respect. Ain't no budget when I'm on the set. If I like it, then that's what I get, yeah. I want it, I got it. 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 You like my hair? Gee, thanks. Just bought it. I see it, I like it. I want it, I got it. Yeah.
I can hear it in the crackle of a bonfire. And I can hear it in the middle of the ocean water. Oh, I just can't explain. But it makes me wanna cry. And I can hear it when the rain falls on my windowsill. On a playground where children's laughter lives. Oh, I can't explain. But it makes me wanna cry. And I can hear it in the busy New York City streets. And I can hear it in the country Georgia fields of green. Oh, I can't explain, no. But it makes me wanna cry. Sounds like grandmama telling you where you come from. Said it's kinda like laughter out of the mouths of your loved ones. Or catching up with an old friend, reminiscing on back when. It's like a summertime sprinkler, street side with my ice cream cone. Said it sounds like a choir singing hymns, hallelujah. It's the voice of God. Yeah, it can make a grown man cry. And I can hear it on the wind of an early morning. When the fog is getting thick and the birds are chirping. Oh, it's just something I can't explain, no. But it makes me wanna cry. And I can hear it in the hush of a midnight hour. When I'm alone in my room if I'm going under. Oh, I just can't explain, no. But it brings me back to life. It's like the sound of a newborn baby crying. Hey, like the final breath of a loved one passing. Oh, it's a beautiful thing, yeah, 'cause it leads me to the light. It's like a drive-through movie, small town with a big screen, like grilling out in the front yard. Sometimes it's the simple things, like storytelling with my grandpa. He was so easy to believe, like when the sun goes up, yeah. Sometimes it's better when the sun comes down, 'cause there's just something about the moonlight, and it can make you feel alright. Oh, it's the voice of God, and it can make a grown man cry. Yes, it can, yes, it can. It's the voice of God. It can make a grown man cry.
Voice of God.
Hey, what's up, everybody? How you guys doing today? Bayshore, what's up? Trying to stay away from the frequency over here. I'm like looking at a deer caught in the headlights or something, right? Whoa, that was actually kind of cool. Hey, what's up, everyone? We represent True School, Milwaukee Center for Transformative Arts and Hip-hop culture. So make some noise for that. Hip-hop is on its 50th year. I'm going to introduce the people here real quick. All the way to the right, we got Myth, then we got Cartel, then we got Serenio, and we got Eli, and yours personally, we got Crumbles. No, not so much? All right, we'll work on that. But before we do our show, we're going to do a breaking show for you guys real quick. We want to talk to you guys about giving props, okay? So I want everybody to put their right hand up right here like this. And then I want you guys to start flicking your hands like this. See, like you're like a little hummingbird right there, right? This little flickering motion, all right? So when you guys see something dope, I want you guys to raise up your hand and go, woo! Yep, just like your Ric Flair, right? So everybody bring your hands up and go, woo! There you go. Because remember, the more energy you give to us, we give it back to you, all right? We're going to be doing some crazy stuff today, so just keep a lookout for it. Feel free to come forward. You know, I see a lot of people over there in the shade, but you know what? This thing's about to get hype, all right? So make sure you guys come through, and, yeah, let's get this energy going, right?
Yeah, I'm on my way, I'm coming. Don't lose faith in me. I know you've been waiting. I know you've been praying for my soul. Oh. 30 years you've been dragging your feet, telling me I'm the reason we're stagnant. 30 years you've been claiming you're honest and promising progress. Well, where is it at? I don't want you to feel like a failure. I know this hurts, but I gave you your chance to deliver. Now it's my turn. Don't get me wrong, nature had a great run, but it's time to give the people something different. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce my album. Hope. What's my definition of success? Listening to what your heart says. Standing up for what you know is right while everybody else is. Tucking their toe between their legs. What's my definition of success? Creating something no one else can. Being brave enough to dream big. Grinding when you're told to just quit. Giving more when you got nothing left. It's a person that'll take a chance on something they were told could never happen. It's a person that can see the bright side through the dark times when there ain't one. It's when someone who ain't never had nothing ain't afraid to walk away from more perfect, cause they rather do something that they really love and take the pay cut. It's a person that would never waver or change who they are just to try and gain some credibility so they can feel accepted by a stranger. It's a person that can take the failures in their life and turn them into motivation. It's believing in yourself when no one else does. It's amazing what a little bit of faith can do. If you don't even believe in you, why would you think or expect anybody else that's around you to? I done did things that I regret. I done said things I can't take back. Was a lost soul at a crossroad who had no hope, but I changed that. I spent years of my life holding on to things I never should have kept, full of hatred. Years of my life carrying a lot of baggage that I should have walked away from. Years of my life wishing I was someone different, looking for some validation. Years of my life trying to fill a void, pretending I was in them. They get it. Every day and pick my son up, hold him in my arms and let him know he's loved. Standing by the window questioning if that is ever going to show up. Isn't something he's gonna have to worry about, don't get it twisted, that was in a shot. Mama, I forgive you, I just don't want him to grow up thinking that he'll never be enough. 30 years of running, 30 years of searching, 30 years of hurting, 30 years of pain, 30 years of fearful, 30 years of anger, 30 years of empty, 30 years of shame, 30 years of broken, 30 years of anguish, 30 years of hopeless, 30 years of hate, 30 years of never, 30 years of maybe, 30 years of later, 30 years of faith, 30 years of hollow, 30 years of sorrow, 30 years of darkness, 30 years of hate, 30 years of baggage, 30 years of sadness, 30 years of stagnant, 30 years of change, 30 years of patience, 30 years of suffering, 30 years of torment, 30 years of 30 years of bitter, 30 years of lonely, 30 years of pushing everyone away. You'll never evolve, I know I can change. We are not enough, we are not the same. You don't have the heart, you don't have the strength, you don't have the will, you don't have the faith. You'll never be loved, you'll never be safe. Might as well give up, not running away. You don't have the guts, you're the one afraid. I'm the one in charge, I'm taking up, I'm taking up. Reigns.
you look like. Don't matter what you wear. How many rings you got on your finger. We don't care, no, we don't care. Don't matter where you come from. Don't even matter what you are. A dog, a pig, a cow, a goat, had them all in here. And they all knew what they wanted me to do. I told them what they needed, just like I be telling you. You gotta dig a little deeper, find out who you are. You gotta dig a little deeper. It really ain't that far. When you find out who you are, you find out what you need. Blue skies and sunshine, guaranteed. You gotta dig. You gotta dig. Prince Froggy is a rich little boy. You wanna be rich again? That ain't gonna make you happy now. Did it make you happy then? No. Money ain't got no soul. Money ain't got no heart. All you need is some self-control. Make yourself a brand new car. You gotta dig a little deeper. Don't have far to go. You gotta dig a little deeper. Tell the people mama told you so. Can't tell you what you find. Baby, love will grant you peace of mind. Dig a little deeper and you'll know. Miss Froggy, might I have a word? You's a hard one, that's what I heard. Your daddy was a loving man, family through and through. You your daddy's daughter, what he had in him, you got in you. You gotta dig a little deeper. For you, it's gonna be tough. You gotta dig a little deeper. You ain't loved him hard enough. Dig down deep inside yourself. You'll find out what you need. Blue skies and sunshine, guaranteed. Open up the window, let in the light. Blue skies and sunshine. Blue skies and sunshine. Blue skies and sunshine. Guaranteed.
Hello. Can you hear me? Okay. Danny, what did you think of the first half of this program?
It was amazing. Give it up one more time for all these companies.
Yes, so fantastic. So that's part one.
Yes.
So if we could have, if some of the dance company directors from the first half are available to come on up here for a quick conversation, we'd love to just talk to you about your companies, where you got started, why you are keeping it going, and so on and so forth. But I think what's great about the first half of this program is that it's all about the youth.
Yes.
You know, it's all about the younger generation. It's all about the vibrancy, the authenticity, and the community that these folks bring to the program, which is really great. Because our feeling about Dance Fest is it's not just about the performance, but it's also about the craft, and most importantly, and you know this from New York, it's about the community. Yes. So, Daniel, come on up.
Can we also just give it up for Lisa for putting this all together in those studios? This is no easy feat. I can tell you from being and producing for over 30 years, this is no easy feat, and especially looking around here and just seeing so much diversity, every age group, not only represented on the stage, but out in the audience. So I just want to give just a big shout out to Lisa and John for putting this together, and hopefully for many, many more years to come. So kudos to you, Lisa.
Well, I appreciate that, but you know what? It's easy when you've got this kind of talent in Milwaukee. So, Signature Dance Company, can we talk for a moment? So I sent you an email, and I know you know this. The song that you selected brought tears to my eyes. And can you just talk a little bit about your craft? And can I just say, it's like a prayer. You know, it's so spiritual. That's my feeling. Yeah. But please talk to me about how you perceive it.
Come center. Okay. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much, No Studios, Miss Lisa, for inviting us. It was an honor to be on the stage with such beautiful companies and such diversity. Thank you so much. So my name is Malika Osai. I'm one of the co-founders and the executive director of Signature Dance Company, and it is a privilege to be that. I just wanted to address the question. So the song, The Voice of God, we did a show in March called Breathe, God is Still God. Because I feel like a lot of times, and I can speak personally, a lot of times I find myself in a state of, and I'm just like waiting, what's about to happen, what's next? It's always, I feel like sometimes there's always something happening, something not so good, something bad. But I needed to remind myself to just breathe for a second. I don't have to worry, I don't have to freak out, I don't have to always be constantly thinking about what's coming next, because regardless of what is coming, God is still God. And so I wanted to be able to portray and convey, like, in the midst of everything that goes on, we should always work to hear God's voice in the smallest things, in New York City streets, in the sound of a baby crying, in the laughter. Like, hear God. He will talk to you in so many different ways. And so that was kind of how the song came about.
I love that. Can I ask a quick question too?
Sure.
So speaking from New York City streets, you know, we were hit really hard with the pandemic. It was really rough to be in New York. I mean, all across the country and the world, but New York was particularly tough living there. But we're here now, and we're happy and we're joyous and we're in our faith. But having such little ones in your company, please talk about what it takes to work with them, how many hours it takes to put together. They were great, and I think it's so brilliant for other little ones to see little ones reflected on this stage. So just talk about how it is rehearsing with them and what it takes to bring them together.
Okay, thank you. So we actually started at age 3. So the age you saw today was our junior company. So we have a few different levels. We have our pre-academy, which is 3 to 5-year-olds. They are in classes twice a week for 1 hour each time. And then we have going up from 6 all the way through adults. We have classes and rehearsals twice a week for 2 hours each time. And so it's a lot of work. Right now we're actually in a summer camp. So we have a summer arts intensive every day from 9 to 5. It's hard work. It's hard work. I'm not doing it. The kids doing it. They are in classes, ballet, tap, modern, jazz, African, 9 to 5 every day, and voice and theater. So, and we have a show coming up on July 28th. So please be on the lookout on our website and our social media. But yeah, we start them at age 3, and so they in there working.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much. And so now, Danielle, if you could come forward. So the energy that you bring to your performances is fantastic. But what a lot of people may not know is that you compete all over the country and maybe the world. And, you know, so this is Milwaukee competing nationally. And so if you could speak a little bit about your practice and also about, you know, how competitive your team is.
Sure, thank you, Lisa. Salsabrositas, it's we have a hashtag or credo, which is from community to competition, and what that represents is that we want to have our feet in it week in and week out. We try to be at as many community events as possible, not unlike Dance Fest here today. And all of those hours put in, we feel it has a dual benefit because it allows our young dancers to cut their teeth, so to speak. The minute they go to an international or national competition, if they've performed at events like this, it becomes old hat. And we tell them, if you can command the stage, you can command the world. And a lot of these young commanders, they have victories under their belt. I don't say it very often, but only because Lisa brought it up. I will say that they've been the world junior champs for the last 5 years. And that's the second half of our mission. Our mission is twofold at Salsabrositas, to provide affordable instruction to underserved youth in the Milwaukee area and to raise funds so those that wish to compete can compete. And they have for the last 5 years successfully. A couple of them that were here today will be competing next weekend in Las Vegas. Yes. So we're, a little prayer and a little luck. Hopefully they'll come back and bring some hardware, and then we'll be back at another community event the following weekend after that.
Yeah, and I would just like to know, just for my own edification, because I'm in New York, there's all kinds of social dancing clubs, salsa, everything. What styles did we see across the numbers that you guys performed today?
So this was not the full extent of all the styles that they danced. They also danced samba no pe, they danced bachata, they dance a little bit of bomba, but I wouldn't say they full out dance it, because there's some hardcore bomberos here in the audience. Shout out to Joanne. I see you, Joanne. You're here somewhere. There she is. But yeah, today, if you will, you could call it a Latin dance sampler. There was salsa, there was mambo in the show, merengue. There was son, what you may know as cha-cha, and cumbia as well. So there are a lot of different Latin dance genres that they perform on a regular basis. Overall, about 9 to 10 that they practice every Sunday and Monday at our studio when they're not performing or competing.
Nice, thank you, and good luck in Las Vegas.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thanks so much. Okay, next up, Elise, come here. We know each other. So, Milwaukee Irish Dance Company, we worked with you in 2019. We worked with you subsequently. The energy, the vitality, the fun that you bring to dance, it's just fantastic. I'm just going to let you talk.
Yeah, we're super excited to be back at Dance Fest. One of the things that I personally love to do with Irish dance is put modern elements and touches to it. So traditional Irish dances, hands by your side, you're not focused on showmanship at all. So places like this really give us an opportunity to showcase all the different things knee spins that I put in. So we're super excited to be here.
And you also are a touring artist. You've toured nationally and all over the world. And I read in your bio that you really wanted to come home to your community and bring this home. So can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, so I started touring about 10 years ago, and I would go from contract to contract. So I would do about 4 months and then come home for a couple weeks and regroup. And when I was home, I really, really missed dancing. And I thought, I'm home. I should be able to dance more here than I should in Germany. So I just started kind of spreading the word and being like, does anyone else want to dance with me on Wednesday night? And it grew from there, and it's been really amazing to meet all the wonderful people in the company and see it grow.
But also talk about, people might not realize, but all the incredible footwork and the challenge of keeping the upper body still. It's just like even when you see a ballet company and they're on their toes bourreeing furiously, but up top it's really, so talk about the challenge and the strength and skill that takes actually.
Yeah, it's a lot of core work. You feel like it's Irish dance, so you're only worried about your feet, but it's like everything, your whole body is sore after. And if you notice when we were dancing, so Irish dance is very strenuous. We don't bend our knees when we land jumps, which is not safe, I don't think. But so it's definitely hard on the body, and as you get into the older age, you have to really ice bath, make sure you're taking care of yourself. But yes, it's very physically demanding.
And I love the music with the beatboxing. That was beatboxing, right? In there, the mix was great. The music was great, right? Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. And you'll notice a theme here about Milwaukee-based dance companies dancing all over the world. And, I think many people don't think about Milwaukee as a home base for the rest of the country, but it is, in fact, that's the case. I mean, these dance companies are dancing everywhere. So, dream cheer. So, you know, if you can talk a little bit about your story, which I think is so fascinating, about why you established your dance company, because you're a mom, and, you know, I'm a mom, and, you know.
I am not.
But, oh my God, nice to meet you. And you know, I'm going to let you tell the story, but your dance company is really an evolution of your desire to do more for your kids, if I'm not mistaken. But I'm going to let you tell the story. Here's the mic.
Okay, I decided to start Dream Cheering Dance in 2003 when I was my daughter and son's cheerleading coach. And we wanted to compete just like I see in the outskirts. And unfortunately, the school district denied us because they said they didn't want to deal with insurance and so on and so forth. But I felt the kids deserved to go further. They was working hard, they was putting hard work in it, and I think that desire, me watching them work as hard as we was pushing them, they needed to see there's other things out here and there's other avenues that they can take advantage of if somebody just opened that door. And that's when I decided to open up Dream Cheering Dance. I opened it up with my children, my son Josh, right here. He's been riding away with me right along with my family. And we have been competing since 2003. And it opens the eyes of the children, but it also opens the eyes for the mothers and the fathers that go with us and travel with us, because sometimes they never even left the city of Milwaukee. But when we're competing, it gives them that eye-opener and say, oh, man, I ain't never been over here, and I ain't been over here. Oh, let's go over here. And it just brings us all together. And I'm going to let Josh finish with some other stuff.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, basically, she just took what we were passionate about. It was me and my sister, and we were super dancers. I started off, honestly, my introduction to dance was Ko-Thi. So I started in African dance.
Yes.
So yeah. So that's where I started, and then she just pushed us further and further, and like she said, we competed almost everywhere. Yeah. Just from the opportunity of her seeing what's in us.
That's right.
You know, and it's not even a lot of the kids that dance with us can't really afford, you know, to dance. So she will literally give anything to push them to go to experience.
I love this, and it makes me emotional because, you know, I grew up in Philadelphia, and my first director, Joan Myers Brown, I love bringing her name into the room because similarly, back in the 60s and 70s, when she was training these young black dancers who were not given opportunities to go beyond their neighborhoods or to dance professionally, that's when she made her company. She was like, I have to give these dancers who were working so hard with doors closing in their faces, like they weren't her. She was a prima ballerina, but could not get into a dance company. And so she just pooled her money and her resources and started the Philadelphia Dance Company. And similarly to Alvin Ailey, the same. He wanted to give dancers of color an opportunity to grow and prosper and travel and make money. And so I applaud you because, you know, when they're not giving you a seat at the table, you made the table.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I applaud you. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you.
Well, thanks so much for the first half dance companies. We salute you.
Yes.
You're fantastic. You know, it's a testament to talent, but it's also a testament to community.
Yes.
And, you know, the fabric of Milwaukee. So now we move on to the second half, you know, of the dance companies. And what a better way to open the second half than with Ko-Thi, which I think is the kind of founding dance company of all dance companies in Milwaukee. So we're going to hand it over to the rest of the show.
I want to get on with and find nothing here.
I am very excited to see all of the different dance companies in the Midwest come together.
It was so fun to see the community and everyone come together, and it just felt like a very special event.
When I hit the stage, it's all about giving it back to the audience. I want you to enjoy what I'm doing.
many Americans call it, and that's as accurate a description as you can get. This is, after all, an instrument fabricated from a 55-gallon steel oil barrel. But its Trinidadian name, pan, cut loose from description of the object, is more evocative. Because pan is not just a steel drum, it's also the music played by these orchestras of these percussion instruments, and it's these steel orchestras that created a local culture and spawned a global movement. The pan is an instrument, a musical genre, a cultural force, a unifier, a bringer of joy, exuberance, and creativity. But Trinidad's gift to the world was also born out of struggle, unspeaking oppression, and violence. From the decks of his ship, Christopher Columbus sighted Trinidad on his third transatlantic voyage in 1498. The British took possession of this island of plantations in 1802, and with it, an economy built on the backs of enslaved labor. In 1883, Trinidad's terrified colonial leadership banned the Orisha-led drums of Kalinda stick fighters, calling them rogues and vagabonds. Necessity breeds creativity, and ingenious Trinidadian musicians, desperate for the community of drumming and music, began using bamboo cut to size and calling it tambu bamboo, transferring their rhythms and remaking their musical culture. The fragility of tambu bamboo led to beating scraps of metal, tin cans, and parts of derelict cars. One day, in the late 1930s, someone realized that drumming on a dented can produced different tones in different sections. Immediately, a generation of young men focused on that discovery, each one trying to outdo the other by pounding 3, 5, 9, 14 notes on that can, that drum, that pan. In the early 1940s, an American military base in western Trinidad ensured that the country was stocked with excess oil barrels. In a decade, by 1950, full ensembles of pans were pounding out musical styles from calypso to classics. The genie was out of the bottle, and with it, unleashed wild passions and blind loyalties. Rhythm-making fueled rivalry between neighborhoods in Trinidad and other centers of Afro-Creole culture. Initially, when two steel bands met, each tried to drown out and disorient the other's players, each taking away the other's revelers and pride. Many of these early steel bands were also street gangs, and they fought like lions, for turf, for musical ascendance, for women, or just for the fun of it. Respectable Trinidadian society, still in the binds of colonial Britain, recoiled in fear and loathing. The police came down hard, but those young pan men continued fighting for themselves and for their culture. And just as their rock and roll counterparts in America, pan men made beautiful music that eventually seduced their society and became cultural mainstream. Pan men swam against the tide of Western colonial privilege by transforming the drum, without abandoning its rhythmic power, into a melody maker, and the steel band into a generator of lush harmonies. The Great Migration of Caribbeans to North America and Europe after World War II brought pan men and pan across the globe. Antigua, Guyana, Toronto, New York, London, Miami, and Tokyo all foster steel band movements, and in each new locale, the pan remains ingrained into local music and culture. There now remains very few places on earth untouched by the scintillating sounds of pan, and the instrument is ubiquitous in schools and university. Pan remains an amateur activity, however, in the original Latin sense of the word, amator, lover, because pan still offers everyone the ancient pleasure of making music with other pan lovers of every race, class, creed, nationality, and age. A Japanese woman plays alongside an Indo-Trinidadian teenager, an Afro-American girl, a white Trini teenager, and a 75-year-old black Trini man. After rehearsal, they all chat and joke. No other institution has so thoroughly dismantled the barriers between races, nationalities, genders, classes, educational levels, and ages.
Here, in Milwaukee, our city, we celebrate our connection to a small island across the sea. A country that created one instrument which led to a global community known as Pan. Here, in Milwaukee, our city, we celebrate Pan as a living symbol of the beauty and change that can arise from oppression and times of struggle. Here in Milwaukee, our city, we recognize that struggle still exists on a worldwide and local level. Here in Milwaukee, our city, we are thankful for the opportunity to use this instrument to positively represent ourselves, our organization, our city, the people of Trinidad, and the global Pan community.
This poem is for healing and for peeling, for seeking and peeking past the things you never thought you'd overcome. This poem is for letting go. This is how you give up, how you step into new self, a shedding of skin, a release, a relinquish armor. As the night I have brought you darkness, I'm sorry my suit don't shine, but we from a land of lonely mamas and dark skies, from soil without sun, from get rich or die dreaming a motel of things you should have moved past by now. This is how you grow. Excuse me. This is how you let go. You start with this poem. You start by finding the very darkness that you left. Black woman, know that she loves you without light and can still see you in all that is heavy. Her eyes of felines, her a panther, protective in her pounce. From across a Waffle House table in Ohio, she told me, boy, you got the world in your eyes. She saw it, wonders if I can, wonders if I am lovable, if she can be boned now that I am crippled, if she can be cane in my bitter, when I've been glutting her evidence in my exhales, a reminder of breath and break, a peacemaker to all of my pieces historically. I have left you for fairer pastures, Religiously, I have prayed in the tongue that the slave catchers caught me with. These be problems I done been had, 400 years my senior. These be the same rotten roots of my daddy, his name favoring mine and prefacing the name of a plantation. This is how you let go of things that have nothing to do with you. This poem is separation of self and ego, of body and what's mine. This poem is me offering myself like I ain't gave enough. That line, a laugh from my Lord and Savior, like he ain't gave it all. My voice dents in a brook. These lessons, a blessing in disguise, a rock bottom with the carpet. Because that's what love really feels like. And for you, I have tailored the floor. I don't know how to love. It is either too heavy or too loud. It is not alike the prophet. This isn't as high as you should be. I don't know where you should be, but you shouldn't be here. This is how you let go on the path set before me between me and my enemies. Their cups doubled and overflowing. There's seats at both sides and me at both sides, and I ain't got a fear for evil. I am the shepherd with the rod on my hip and oil in my locks. He has granted me stay. My God ain't give up. Ain't give up, although I have let go. My God has not let go of me, so I give myself to my God. I pray with my whole body. I play God at the temple while my siblings dream. My God, ain't this yours? Ain't you give me enough for my handling? I play point when I can't see shot. I give you chance when it change. We give you time. I can't give much more than I got, but that's why my God got me. God, I'm blessed. God damn it, my God means business. My God be shot caller, arm and spine bender, matrixer, fixer. My God, I give up only to give unto you. This is how you let go. Like onion, like tearfully and layered, like love. Like if you love her, like if you love this, let go. Let go. And let God.
Stars, they come and go. They come fast, they come slow. They go like the last light of the sun, all in a blaze. All you see is glory. But it gets lonely there when there's no one there to share. You can shake it away. If you hear a story, but most have seen it all. They live their lives inside cafes and music halls. And they always have a story. Some make it when they're young, before the world has done its dirty job. Later on, someone will say you've had your day. Now you must make way. But anyway, that isn't what I meant to say. I meant to tell about a story, since we all have stories. But I'll continue anyway until I get it together. Some people play a fine guitar. I could listen to them play all day. But anyway, I'm trying to tell my story.
Cry. We got that sunny morning waiting on us now. There's a light at the end of the tunnel. We can be very free. Just take it from me, honey child. Let me tell you now, child. That morning sun is here to greet us with a loving light so warm. That morning sun is here to meet us, waiting on the waking up of everyone. She ain't gonna quit till you're smiling now. Let me tell you, child. Let me tell you, honey, child. That morning sun has come to greet you. She's peeking round the corner, just waiting just to meet you. Shining down on all your troubles. Let me tell you, child. Let me tell you, honey, child. Let me tell you, child.
I go out with the crowd. I play the game, pretending out loud, but it don't seem the same, for the heart of the crowd is gone from sight. My part of the crowd is not with me tonight. I remember the fun, every dance with you, all the crazy things that we used to do. Sometimes we'd wait for a chance, and then we'd steal away from the crowd and the dance to our hideaway. Oh, but you're gone, and it's not the same old game. I fall apart each time I hear your name. Guess I'll go along with the crowd. I'll make believe that you'll come back to me, run back to me, hurry walk on. If we should meet, walk on down the street, walk on, don't even look, walk on, close up the book. We don't want the world to see us like we are. We should never have even gone this far. Quickly brush away that teardrop. Walk away, darling, don't stop. Don't look back for me, baby, walk on. Walk on. Don't turn around. Walk on to higher ground. Take the love we've shared together. Keep it in your heart forever. Don't forget me, but baby, walk on. If you ever love
Is it on? Okay. I just, wow, that was amazing.
What a day,
still-
my goodness.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think I speak for all of us when I say we all needed that. I mean, that was powerful from the beginning to the end. So for the dance company directors, I know you just got done performing, but if you have a moment to jump on up here, we'd just love to chat with you a little bit about your practice and how you started your practice and so on and so forth. And we did this program in 2019 at Sherman Phoenix, and it was fantastic then. It's fantastic now. But it's great to welcome new companies to this combined performance, including Moonwater Dance Project from Chicago.
Yes.
So we're really happy to expand our network and make this, anchored in Milwaukee, but a beyond Milwaukee performance, which is super great. So, so if folks just want to just jump on up here, just come on up. And, just, again, fantastic. I'm just blown.
Congrats.
blown away.
Yeah.
And it's the talent, but it's also the storytelling that you guys do, which is just fantastic. So why don't I start with you, Nova, Linea, just because I don't know you as well. And this is
Ko-Thi, yeah.
Nova Linea Dance Company, which, I'm just going to start your story, and then I'm going to let you finish it. So this is a dance company relatively new to Milwaukee, started during the pandemic. Who says, I'm going to start a dance company in Milwaukee during the pandemic? This young man says that. And I was just, the first time ever I've seen you perform, and I'm just blown away. So if you could just tell your story, I just think it's a fantastic story about perseverance and dedication to the arts.
Hi, my name is Jared Baker, and I'm the artistic director of Nova Linea Contemporary Dance. And as Lisa was just saying, we just started relatively new. We just completed our second year as a company, and we did start amidst the pandemic. Myself and Kelly and Chris Plath, who are the executive directors of the company, we had known each other for a long time and had been back and forth for a few years discussing how we wanted to start a dance company. And it was actually the pandemic that gave us that push to do it, because we saw how much the dance world was struggling, how much companies were falling apart and not able to do what they could do. And we got together and we said, we have the means, we have the resources, we have the drive to do this, and we felt like a sense of responsibility to help keep the live arts and live theater going, so that there was something left for everybody once we got out of the pandemic. So we started that. We were very fortunate to be able to get through that. And with that, it's become our mission to help aid the resurgence of live theater. And through that, we've really connected with our youth dance studios, trying to get them into the theater to understand what professional dance is and what live dance can be outside of the home studio or like the competitive or the convention world. So that's been our mission thus far. Yeah.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And I heard along the lines of those conversations, there was a lot of wine involved. It's on your bio.
It is on our bio. We love our wine. And
so do I.
I think sometimes the best ideas come from those places.
Absolutely.
So a lot of
I'm not condoning it, by the way.
A lot of nights were spent sitting on Kelly's couch in her living room till 3 in the morning, discussing how we would go about this, what we wanted the company to be about, what the mission would be, what would we stand for, and how would we make that happen. And so it was less about the wine and more about the company and the people that you were doing it with.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thanks for having the courage. It takes a lot to start a dance company. Not less to be a dancer, but to actually start a dance company takes a lot of courage. So in the middle of a pandemic, I applaud you. Thank you. You guys are beautiful
so much. Thank you for
today.
having us. Thank you.
Thanks so much. And now I want to bring up Danceworks. And so we worked with you before, a different iteration in 2019. Always, and we're working with you again on a separate project, which we'll announce later in the year. But just a fantastic Milwaukee asset. and would love it if you could just talk a little bit about your practice. And you, I want to, 50 years? How long have you been in Milwaukee?
Oh, we have been in Milwaukee. We've been in Milwaukee for 30 years. We just celebrated our 30th anniversary. And the company, the performance company, has been around for 25 years. So Danceworks Performance, MKE, is highly collaborative. We could not do what we do at Danceworks without our community and without the dancers. We have a youth performance company. We have a professional company that you saw today. We have an intergenerational performance company where our youngest dancer in that troupe is about 21 and our oldest dancer is in their 70s. So really incredible to have that performance programming. But speaking of collaboration, I wanted to turn over the mic to Nikia Leone, who choreographed the piece that you saw today. And we would not be able to present that piece without her brilliance and her collaboration. So Nikia, will you tell us what that piece was about?
Sure. So I was given the very grateful opportunity to collab with Milwaukee Youth Symphony Orchestra to create this piece. So this piece was originally done with live musicians. It was in partnership with their steel pan drum ensemble, which we just performed this about 3 weeks ago now for our final concert of the season. And I just really wanted to create a piece that connected my hometown with my home country. Since my family is from Barbados, and the steel pan drum is originally from Trinidad and is a relatively new instrument. So I just wanted to be able to bring that to the community here.
And beautifully done. I was actually ignorant to the origins of the steel pan, and so thank you for educating me and for the beautiful work and just seeing how it related to contemporary dance as well. And going back to this intergenerational, so I still have a chance to be on stage with you. You know, I'm in my 50s, but you know, I have a chance still keep dancing. Me and you, Lisa, we're gonna audition. Okay. Thank you. Thank you guys. You guys are beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank
Congrats.
you.
We can do it, Lisa. We can do it.
Well, you can do it. I'm a little bit ahead of you. I can do it slowly. So I just want to bring up Moonwater dance project. So we connected, you know, kind of randomly, you know, through the internet, the magic of the internet. And I'm just so excited that, you know, so they came up from Chicago this morning. Wow. You know, which is just such a compliment, I think, to our project and what we're doing. I just thought you guys were amazing, you know, just so amazing. But again, it's not just about the performance, it's about the story behind the story. I'm gonna let you tell the story because you've told it to me. But this is an all-female dance company started by a woman. And this is another story of perseverance and courage and, you know, just, you know, knowing that the arts is so important that you're just not going to give up. And I wanted you to tell the story.
Okay. Hi, I'm Mackenzie King. I'm the founder and artistic director of Moonwater Dance Project. So we're actually celebrating our 5th season right now. Thank you. So about 6 years ago, I felt like there wasn't a place in the contemporary concert dance world for women who just weren't in the right place at the right time, had all the training, had all the technique, had all the artistry, but just missed whatever audition or wasn't enough of something. It was you're too much of something, you're not enough of something. And I just noticed so many of my peers not performing, not getting the work that they deserved to have. And so I also had some wine and decided, you know, if no one else was going to do it, I guess I would do it. And I felt like it was just so important to have a company that also celebrated the strength of women, because it's always like, women are and. You can be soft and strong. You know, there's always an and there. So I loved that duality, and I really wanted to form a company that celebrated that and.
And I also love the fact, first of all, congratulations on 5 years.
Thank you.
And I love seeing the pas de deux at the end. That was yours, right? The partnering of that. You don't see that a lot in contemporary dance with, women partnering each other. And I think that was particularly beautiful.
Thank you.
So I applaud you for that. And, another one of my favorite companies in Chicago, of course, is Hubbard Street Dance Chicago, right? Now, finally led by a woman for the first time, Linda Denise Evans, a former also Ailey dancer. So you guys should connect, because I'm sure she has a lot to say about that.
I was going to say, do you have her email?
I will
that?
connect you too. So now I have 2 favorite companies coming out of Chicago. Really, really beautiful. I look forward to seeing more, but really, really strong.
So
Thank you for your story. Thank you.
Yeah, and I'm just going to add a comment just to see the strength of women, especially now. I'm just going to say it's just so gratifying and satisfying to me. It's just the vulnerability and the strength, as you say. It's the and, which is just fantastic. Last but not least.
Right on, right on.
Miss Fern, can you step forward, please? So.
Legend.
Let me just say, oh my God. I mean, Dance in Milwaukee has a founder, and it's Fern Calker. I mean, it's just like, it's just so gratifying to see what you've done. And you've heard of several, at least 1 or 2 dance companies come up and say, oh, I started with Ko-Thi. Oh, I tried out for Ko-Thi. And then I got my start. And you really have launched a whole ecosystem of dance, not just in Milwaukee, but again, this is an instance, Milwaukee has been the anchor and the catalyst for dance around the world. And you have traveled, and you've been an inspiration around the world. And we should, just because she's here with us today doesn't mean that she's not an international celebrity and known everywhere. I mean, when Danny walked up, they knew each other right away. It's like, oh, Fern, oh, Danny.
Well, I knew her. She didn't know me.
It's okay. So I just want to give you the mic, but I do want to say this has been 54 years, right? And next year is your 55th year. And which is
give it up for that.
Fantastic. And the artistry and the beauty and the energy that your dance brings forward. And it's not just the dance, as if that wouldn't be enough. It's the music as well. So I'm going to stop talking and just hand you the mic, but thank you so much.
Thank you, Lisa. Thank you. I was just wanted to refer to the thing about the wine. Because I have to tell you this, in 1969, when a lot of you weren't born yet, when I started this company, I thought about the company while sitting at the beach in Ghana at the slave fort Elmina Castle, drinking some local palm wine. And if you know anything about palm wine, you'll know what I'm talking about. And that's how I started this concept of the company. I do want to say I have this young man standing next to me. I have to hold on to him so that I don't fall over because I got vertigo. So he's my guy. Right. Let me start by just telling his story, because his story surmises why Ko-Thi has been a success, and he's proof of it. Is this young man, I first met him, how old were you?
Young.
He was young. He was only about 12 or 13, something like that.
9.
9. Wow. See that? Wow. And he had a choice to either go gangster or pick up a djembe and play. So here's the deal. We gave him a djembe, and he lost his mind. Yeah. And then he went into the Marines. And I'm standing in the office one day, and this guy, somebody said, there's somebody out there to see you. Oh. And I came out, and he was in full Marine garb and went, hey, hup, like that, and I almost passed over. So this guy here is my bodyguard, my son, right? His name, he is now the musical director of Ko-Thi Dance Company. Yes. This is Kumasi Allen.
Yes.
I also, before I go any further, I have to shout out to my guy and girls and women and board, all there under that tent. and Sonia Thompson, who's the artistic director of Ko-Thi Dance Company. Thank you. So yeah, I started this in 1969. I was drunk on a beach. And that's the only way I had the nerve to actually do it when I came back. Is that good enough for you?
That's great. So when I first got here, we were talking about dance education, and you shared some of your story with me. And I feel like, you know, if you're going to be in dance, this is for the young, and this is not a preaching moment, but please know your history from which I stand on the shoulders of. And we talked about Tally Beatty, Elio Pomare,
Yes.
you know, Alvin Ailey,
Yes.
Judith Jamison, Pearl Primus, Catherine Dunham.
Rod Rogers.
Right, you know, Rod Rogers, Martha Graham, you know, this all of the ones that stood before us in this country that started contemporary modern dance, African diasporic dance. And I do want to give one shout out for a man I just met who I've been a fan of for years. Mr. Frank Gatson is in the audience, who I follow on social media. Who has choreographed and staged concerts for some of the world's biggest music stars, who I just met in the audience, who was here with us. So anyway, I'm girling out, but anyway, just congratulations to you for all that you've done for the community, for the youth.
Thank you.
And here's to 55 more and beyond. I
hope so.
applaud you. I am so.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
I am so in awe. Thank you.
Thank you.
So thanks everyone for coming. That's it for us, and you know, we hope to do this again next year and make it even bigger and better. But it really is all about community, all about celebrating the craft of dance, and all about, you know, connecting us to each other on a deeper level. So thanks so much for spending a beautiful Saturday and spending it with us. Thank you very much.
Absolutely, we have to.
I am very excited to see all of the different dance companies in the Midwest come together.
It was so fun to see the community and everyone come together, and it just felt like a very special event.
When I hit the stage, it's all about giving them back to the audience. I want you to enjoy what I'm doing.
Milwaukee is a complex historical tapestry. Within concrete wastelands, Amidst Cream City brick, rises our city of today. Business sprouts in the factories of yesteryear. Old haunts become new destinations. In this series, we speak to artists whose work was woven by this landscape and trace the thread back to this new Milwaukee.